Welcome back to Weeds That Feed. Grow this instead. This week we're looking at Primrose, Primula vulgaris, or Primrose as that translates to. So first flower, which is pretty much one of the first native flowers to come out in our garden, along with perhaps gorse and maybe stinking hellebore, something like that. And we plant in our gardens a bunch of other things to liven them up, to give them a bit more interest this time of year, such as Bergenia, Pulmonaria and leopard's bane, all fairly similar in their characteristics, low growing herbaceous plants that will be flowering in March. And I wanted to just have a look and contrast some of their attributes, and especially I want to look at their contribution to insects and the wider ecology. So starting with Primrose. Primrose is a native of Britain and it supports 88 species of insect, 33 phytophagous insects, 2 butterflies, both vulnerable species, the Duke of Burgundy and the pearl-bordered fritillary, which primary food plant of pearl-bordered fritillary is common dog violet, but it will feed on primrose as well. And primrose is the primary food plant for Duke of Burgundy. Both vulnerable species. It also is a food plant to 29 larger moth caterpillars and 2 flies. Maggots. Nice. There's also a nectar plant for 55 pollinating species, including a bunch of in decline butterflies such as peacock, green-veined white, comma, just to name a few, all down since 2010. Now, Bergenia, or elephant ears, is a large leaf plant. It was introduced here from Siberia and Central Asia in sort of late 18th century, popular in our garden as an ornamental plant, but has no insect interactions. It might support a couple of pollinators, but nothing recorded to feed on its leaves. Leopard's bane, a yellow flowered, again sort of compact, low growing plant, introduced here from Southeast Europe, Caucasian, that sort of area in the early 19th century. And again, this has no recorded interactions with insects. And actually, the last out of the 3 that I've chosen to talk about is Pulmonaria, Lungwort, which is actually a little bit more interesting in a sense, because this does support some insects here. It's a good early plant to help pollinators along, and has been recorded to support 5 pollinating insects, all bees, and 8 phytophagous insects. So it is starting to integrate into the ecology. It's from Southeast Europe, and I think it is a good plant, much like when I talked about snowdrop a few weeks ago, which is a companion plant to other plants like stinking hellebore and gorse, which are still flowering, and there's still not that much native out. Some of the trees are starting to come out, some of the early blossoms like Prunus spinosa, the blackthorn blossom is starting to come out. So Pulmonaria is a good companion plant to other sort of cornerstone species that do a lot else, that support a lot of other insects through their life cycle, both as plant-eating insects and as pollinating insects. And Primrose is one of them, along with gorse that supports 118 species. So Primrose, actually a pretty heavy lifter for such a pretty small plant. Worth giving consideration for the amount of work that it does in the garden. So thanks for joining me on Weeds That Feed, Grow This Instead, and please do subscribe if you want to keep up with the latest videos, and I'll see you next week.